Hey everybody, John Coffee here. Got a new idea for a video that I would like to start doing. Probably not every week, but ever so often. I've had this idea for a while, but I just never knew how to execute it. I'm gonna take a trilogy of films. I mean, let's say like the original Dead trilogy, Night, Dawn, Day, or the Evil Dead trilogy, the August Underground trilogy, whatever it is, whatever trilogy. And originally I was going to do all 3 reviews in one video, but I think that would be either condense the reviews too much, or it would make the video too long. And I don't want to do that. So what I think I'm going to do now is just for 3 days review the 3 movies. That's why I don't think I'm. My God, my hair's getting on my nerves right now. That's why I don't think I'll do it every week, because I don't want to have like 3 reviews of the same series every daggum week. You know, I don't want to do it every week. So, but every so often I'm going to pop this in and do this. The first trilogy of this series is going to be a Japanese extreme trilogy, I guess you could call it, and that is the All Night Long collection, which is All Night Long Atrocity, and All Night Long: The Final Chapter. This is a different one because these 3 don't really tie into each other, except for their themes. So it's not like a direct trilogy where the same characters return each time. This is more of a trilogy and theme, I guess you could call it. But to start this off right, I will be reviewing the original All Night Long, which is not really cover art for it, which is that kid right there, and there's a scene, not that guy right there. He's in the original. Now I have reviewed this movie once before, but that review was terrible because it was, you know, further back, and I had yet to get very comfortable on here, and also it was audio only because at the time I didn't have a camera. So essentially, All Night Long is about 3 high school kids. They're all kind of broken into a stereotype. You have the hard-working kid who wants to become a mechanic for an airline industry. You have a rich kid, and you have the nerd. So there's your 3 characters. Wish I knew their names, but I'm not very good with names in movies in general. So basically, one day they're waiting for this train to pass, and they all 3 at the time don't know each other. They just happen to be there with each other, be there together. With this girl, who this crazy cat right here, right there, shows up and asks her for directions. And you can tell by the way he walks that there's something weird about him. And when he pulls he's like, "Oh, let me ask you, do you know where this place is?" And he pulls a piece of paper out and opens up, and there's nothing on it. And of course, you know, the girl freaks out and is like, "Oh, okay, something odd about this cat." So she backs off, and he pulls a knife out, stabs and kills her, and the 3 of them are able to work together to stop this guy and get him put in jail. And from there, they become friends, you know, sharing this common trauma, I guess you could say, or this common incident. They become friends. And they get together and have a good night, have fun, and vow that they're going to do it again. But they said the next time they want to do it, they want to have girls with them. I think they say something about an orgy, but I don't think that. I think that's just where they were drunk, and I think the whole thing is they just want to have girls together, have fun, you know. So the middle of the movie, and it's where a lot of people begin to complain about the film, is a very slow-paced part where the 3 of them basically just go out and try to find girls. And that breaks off into 3 separate stories. The guy who wants to be the airplane pilot, he basically finds a girl and falls in love with her and begins to really get close to her. The other 2 can't find a girl so easily. So the rich guy, he basically hires a hooker, who's not your average hooker, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's all you need to know about that. And the nerdy kid, he basically has this weird, strange, fat guy help him get this girl, and there's all big things going like that. Each one both those stories have all 3 of the sub-stories have very nasty endings in a way. Like, they're not like only one of them comes to a very brutal ending, but the other 2 are definitely like Like, oh, that sucks. But basically, you see the romance building between the two, the girl and the guy who wants to be there playing mechanic, and basically one night they, while they're waiting to go to the party, they run across this street gang. And basically, now my memory of what happens, I'm trying to look at the back here and see if it, I don't think they kill her. I really don't. But I can't exactly remember. My memory of this is fuzzy because I've watched all 3 films to do these reviews, but it's been a while since I watched the first one. So I really should have went back and rewatched it, but if I did that, it would just been this never-ending thing of me watching the 3 All Night Long trilogy just to do these reviews. I don't think they kill her, but I definitely know for a fact they beat her and rape her. And, which sends her boyfriend into a spiral of insanity, where he goes to the other 2 and convinces them to help him find them, at least. But he plans to kill him. Eventually, they do find the gang that raped her and beat her. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, but from there, all hell breaks loose, which is the big theme in all 3 of his movies. All 3 of his movies have little vignette pieces in the middle, and at the very end, chaos. Now, this is not the most beloved film in the trilogy. To me, it seems like part 2 is the one. Although this is not a very talked about trilogy either. Like, you figured, especially here on YouTube, where there's a lot of fans of the extreme horror, like myself, that this set would be talked about a little more, but it really isn't. It doesn't seem to get the credit it deserves, I think. Especially, in my opinion, the first movie. Because the first movie, for one thing, is shot on film. It's the only one shot on film, and it looks great. 2, the soundtrack is phenomenal. I'm going to use a bit of the soundtrack at the very beginning of the video, like I always do for my reviews. And it has a fantastic story. I mean, not to say the other 2 don't have stories, but they're very less plot-driven than this one is. Like, you really become vested in these characters in this one, and you want to see them all have good things happen to them, but not in this trilogy. Nothing good happens to anybody in this trilogy. So basically, yeah, like I said, the last, if I was to weigh the movie, like, what was what, I would say it's about an hour of story, and then about 30 minutes of just pure chaos. And when I say chaos, I mean it. I mean, nobody is safe at the end of this movie. Bad things happen, and characters turn, and personality switch, and horrible, nasty things happen. I think what causes the first one to not be as regarded as the other 2 is it is definitely, I would say, the less brutal of the 2. It doesn't go to the extremes, especially the second one, and I'll talk about that one in the next video. But it seems to have, that one, the second one, seems to be the one that most people point to as the best of the trilogy, and I'll give my opinion on that later. When I review the third one, at the end of the 3rd review, I will rank them, what I think are the best and what's the worst. But All Night Long 1, I find to be very enjoyable. I think it has just this strange atmosphere about it that really, like, sucks me in every time I watch it. And though it's not the most action-packed film ever, it's definitely a slow burn, where the other 2 really aren't. It just captivates me. I don't know what it is about the movie. I find the whole thing to be just completely engaging up until the last frame, and I do feel the ending goes a bit long. Like, it just kind of keeps going, like, it fades to black, you're like, oh, it's over, and then it comes back, and then it fades to black again, and you're like, oh, it's over, then it comes back again, you know. But I highly recommend the first one. I mean, you can't really get it outside of this box set, so if you want the first one, you gotta get all 3 of them, but, you know, it's worth picking up for the first one alone, in my opinion. And I'll go ahead and spoil it. I like all 3 of these movies. There's not one of them I feel is weak, so, but I'll tell you which one is my favorite and which one's my least favorite when I get to the 3rd review of the trilogy. But All Night Long 1, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I highly recommend it, guys. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's brutal, it's nihilistic, it's dark, it's mean-spirited, which all 3 of these films are very mean-spirited. But I think it has the most plot-driven of all of them. I think the rest of them are more vignettes for violence than they are for story. Not saying this one has a very deep plot to it. I mean, explaining it's not hard, but I find All Night Long 1 to just be a fascinating movie. I don't know the director's name. Let me look at here. They're all three directed by the same guy. Directed by Katsuya Matsumura. Yeah, this is the only one shot on film, so that gives it a boost in my opinion too. So yeah, All Night Long 1. If I'm going to give it out of a 5, I will give All Night Long, the first one, a 4. Solid 4. So there you have it, guys. All Night Long 1. Stay tuned, because up next will be All Night Long Atrocity, which is one of the most nihilistic movies I have ever seen in my life. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for All Night Long Atrocity review.